Hi, Marilyn O'Malley here at MarilynO'Malley.com. How are you doing today? So today I'm going to talk to you about manifesting. Have you ever wondered why you aren't manifesting the life that you really desire? Are you questioning your ability to attract things into your life? Well, today I want to share with you why that might be and how being highly sensitive plays a part in that, and that we need to pay attention to our highly sensitive traits, and that we're not like the other 80% of the population. So we have different concerns and different things that we believe about who we are and how we are affected by our environment and our experiences and how they affect us. So first of all, you're manifesting all the time. You're either manifesting what you want and what you don't want. And your brain is always working with you to bring you what you expect to get. And it will move you towards the things that you feel good about, and it will move you away from the things that you don't feel good about, in other words, pain. And the other thing is that it will do what is habitual, what is comfortable. So a lot of times when we're wanting something new, there's a part of us that needs to grow in order to manifest that. And so that growth can feel uncomfortable, or just something new can feel uncomfortable to the patterns that you've had before. So I want to share a few things. So first, where am I getting this information from? Well, I've been studying this for at least 16 years, and when The Secret came out, actually even before that, I was studying with John Assaraf, who was in The Secret. He was the one that put the picture of the house on his dream board, and then the exact same house he manifested, and he didn't realize it until he was unpacking the box and his son said, "What's in here?" Right? And I studied during that time. Also, I would read everybody else that had anything to do with The Secret, and I would see how everybody had bits and pieces to it, but there was nobody that had the whole picture. And I was with John for 1.5 years, and some things would work and some things weren't working. And I was wondering, why is that? Am I that broken? Is there something, am I so wrong that I can't get what these other people are getting? And I'll share some of that with you. And also just kind of piecing all these different views and things. I would draw pictures of the brain, and what is consciousness, what is unconsciousness, how do the minds affect the brain, and I love, because John Assaraf is really, as you see today, into the brain and the latest studies on the brain and how the brain and the mind work and all of that. So, and I was fascinated by, like, oh my God, here's a guy that's doing spiritual work and scientific work, and he's in business. And so that fascinated me totally. So I just have been jumping in and learning all of this, and I apply it. I apply it to myself. And then also I've been coaching for 16 years, highly sensitive. So I get to see how this works, what's working and what doesn't work. And so I want to share this with you. So again, to say, I'm speaking to the highly sensitives mainly here, and we are different from the other 80% of the population who is not highly sensitive or not as sensitive. And they don't take in as much information and process as much information. And if you're new to this and you don't know whether you're highly sensitive or not, you can go to MarilynO'Malley.com, and on there is a place where you can go and take a test and find out more about being highly sensitive. And then also on YouTube, I have a ton of information, and on my blog, on my website, there's a ton of information about being highly sensitive. So I'm going to cover a few of the trait, because highly sensitivity is a trait, and there are certain things about how our brain functions and how we function that is quite different than somebody else. And so so somebody might be able to, who is not sensitive, to take in a lot of information, do a lot of stuff, you know, push through things, and a highly sensitive person isn't going to do that. A highly sensitive person, we process information very deeply. We take in information, and then I always talk, it's like a library. We have like a library in our minds, and so information comes in, and then we're sifting through it, and little nuances, and seeing what it connects with and what it doesn't connect with, and or creating new ways for it to be a benefit. Like, we're great problem solvers because we can do that. We can take in information from different places, totally different fields, bring it all together and solve somebody else's problem over here, through that processing. But we don't like a lot of information coming in at once, you know, which could be fine for somebody who isn't deeply processing, or we're concerned about being overstimulated, having too much going on all at once. So something that moves too quickly might be, or has too much information and moves too quickly, can be overwhelming to us and overstimulating to us. So, and then also how we grew up. So our beliefs, as I was talking about earlier, so manifesting has to do with your beliefs, and whether you think and believe that you can have what it is that you desire. And so, and what I'm just thinking in my head how to explain this. So if there's something, so when we're growing up, and and a lot of our beliefs are formed when we're very young, and then we end up you know, doing things and acting upon those beliefs, because that's what our mind tells our brain to do, and we take actions, and those are the things that we believe until we change those beliefs. So part of what I do when I'm teaching manifestation and working with my clients one-on-one or in groups, is that I'm teaching them about how to change their beliefs where they're stuck, right? Where they're limiting themselves. Because if you're not already creating that relationship, the new career, the abundance in your life, the health that you desire, there's something in you that is either you don't believe it, or it's going to be like painful for you to get it, or you are not being consistent enough and persistent and holding the line in order to make that become something that is comfortable and is now familiar to you, so that becomes your new habit, your new belief. So let's talk a little bit about the beliefs that we have about ourselves. So if we grow up as a young, highly sensitive, so we get people telling us, you're too sensitive. So we start believing we're too sensitive. We can't handle things like other people. So all of a sudden we're like, we can't handle things. we can't tolerate, we can't. So you're not even teaching yourself, and that's one of the things I do too, is I teach people how to manage their highly sensitive trait, energetically and mentally. So, but if you grow up thinking you're weak, you're shy, you're too sensitive, well, and you just believe that the world's coming at you and it's just way too much and you can't handle it, then you won't be able to handle it, and you're feeling disempowered. Again, see that belief. And you're actually very powerful. Your highly sensitive traits are superpowers, and actually they are high survival traits that are very important to the other 80% of the population. See, so now we're already switching how we're looking at ourselves, how we're like, what? You know, for those of you that are just learning this, some of you have been listening to me for a while, and I've been saying this for a while, but it's like, yeah, you got to start believing different things about yourself and seeing yourself in different ways, and you're going to start creating and manifesting and serving in a much more powerful way, which you're here to do. We are really, highly sensitives are here to help transform and heal humanity and the planet in our various ways, and whether that's being a parent, whether that's being a coach, whether that's you know, being innovative and creative, creating, you know, the future, whether it's solving poverty or hunger or health issues. We're in every realm. We're in every single realm of the world, and how our deeply processing self is very important to all those areas. So see how growing up and thinking that you're not enough, that you're weak, that somehow you're broken, that if and it might be, it's dangerous to be seen because maybe you were crying at, you know, you're moved by the beauty of the world, and then you were made fun of, or you were bullied, you know, so it wasn't safe. You know, it wasn't safe for you to be you. It wasn't safe for you to be sensitive. People didn't like it if you cried, or you were taught that you're not important, that other people around you are more important. So you grew up learning, being a nurturer. So you grew up believing that others are more important than you, and you put yourself last, and that is just wrong. So I'm here to change that belief. So you see how, like, if what you desire, well, can you ask for what you want and receive it? If you didn't get that as a kid, then you stopped asking and started thinking, well, I'm not worth it, or I've got to take care of everybody and I have to suffer. I have to suffer and I have to work really hard for it. And of course, none of us want to suffer and work really hard for something and sacrifice ourselves and go through pain and suffering in order to have something. So you might just say it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. And that's limiting you. Those beliefs and the way that you're seeing your world and you is limiting you from manifesting what it is that you really desire and being able to show up, you know, how you came into the world to show up. So let me share a couple other things. So of course I'm not going all over this because it's not a course, but I am going to have a course. So actually I am going to have a course starting in January live here in Santa Barbara, California. So if you're in Santa Barbara, starting January 8th, you can go on my website, MarilynO'Malley.com/HSP group, and get all the information. You can give me a call and ask me questions. And it's going to be a limited group, like 10 to 12 people. And I'm going to I'm going to take you through all these processes so you can be manifesting, so you can learn, and this can be added to any area of your life. And you're actually going to choose something to manifest, and I'm going to help you with that whole process about how to decide what you want, because a lot of you have no idea what it is that you want. And then I'm going to teach you the processes of how to change a belief, how to change how you're seeing the world, and how to do things as a highly sensitive so that you're not overwhelmed, overstimulated, creating anxiety for yourself. How to self-care and how to take care of yourself, fill yourself up, and then that way just let the overspill of you positively affect or impact the world around you. And then eventually, shortly after that, I'm going to start a virtual program that I will be doing through Zoom or some way. I haven't completely set it up yet, but then I can do more work with more of you. And if you're interested in doing that, go to MarilynO'Malley.com and make sure if you guys haven't already, sign up for the self-care. I have an ebook and on self-care for highly sensitives that's talking a lot about this stuff in different ways. Go on and get the self-care book, and then when I have the course ready in January, I'll be sending out a notice there, so you can join us then too. And I'm making these very reasonable, so that because I want to serve a lot of people, and I don't want it to just be. I want to serve a wide range of people. And I understand a lot of highly sensitives are doing a lot of work out there and not creating a lot of abundance for themselves. And so I'm wanting to reach you, and I want you to invest in yourself and learn how to invest in yourself and reap and start creating a really abundant life for yourself. Okay, so I talked about, so if you're deeply processing things in your environment, and if there's too much coming in at once, or it's going too fast, or you have a lot of demands on you through it, the beliefs are, I can't handle it, I'm not enough, it's too hard, it's painful, I'm too sensitive. Also, empathy. Our empathy for others is our ability to feel what other people are feeling. And so one of the mistakes that a lot of sensitives do is they take on other people's feelings as their own. And so that's something that I teach too, so that instead of going down the hole of wherever another person is, that you actually learn to have clear boundaries and offer them a ladder and share with them the benefits coming up and getting out of that hole, versus going down there and sacrificing yourself in the process of going, being down there. And so this is, again, is part of self-care. It's part of saying, like, I have to sacrifice myself for others. Others are more important than me. These are a couple of those beliefs. Success is for others, not for me. It's painful. It's too hard. There's too much to do. I can't handle it again. Codependence is usually a problem for highly sensitives, highly nurturing individuals, because what do? We attract narcissists, or we attract people who want, who aren't necessarily givers, they're more takers. And so again, that can be very depleting. And so learning how to manage that, how to manage people around you, how to manage people you're working with, and imagine in your mind that you have the ability, that you can have clear boundaries set, you can easily work with others, you can have support, you can ask for support. That's a lot of times that we grew up thinking we can't have what we want, because we're not perfect enough, right? Because we're not perfect because we're sensitive, and we're not perfect because we're not like them, the other 80%. We can't handle all of that stuff. So something must be broken in us. And until we become perfect, and so that we can get what we want, then you know, we can't ask for what we want. We won't ask for help because we want to appear strong. So this is where the perfectionist comes in a lot of times, and a lot of us has grown up with some narcissistic parents. You can look that up if you don't understand what it is, and I do have a couple blogs on that on my website that you can look up and learn about the narcissist, because if you are highly sensitive, you most likely have attracted people into your life that are that way. And so you're not enough, and you'll never be enough. And so in order to manifest, you have to believe that you deserve, that you are worthy, you are enough, that what you desire is yours. And so you have to expect it. So if there's question marks anywhere along this way, it's like putting the brakes on. You can say, oh, I want this, but then you doubt it, you worry about it, and you push, you're trying to be like, okay, I've got to be perfect, I got to make this happen, I got to, you're doing all this negative energy, and you're suffering, and you're not having a good time at it, and the universe says, whoa, she doesn't want this because it's too painful for her. So again, teaching you guys how to do that. And the other thing is, when we were young, highly sensitives, not everybody, but a lot of people that I've worked with and myself, we dimmed our light. We thought, let's blend in so we don't stand out. And also a lot of highly sensitives, if they did stand out and they had narcissistic parents to you, there were different consequences that happened. We got taken advantage of. You might have stood out, and depending on if your parent had some mental issues or something, you might have been too much and you got yelled at or even hit, or something happened, so you kind of disappeared. You tried to really blend in and not make noise. And here's the thing, right? Though, when we're in business and we have services, and there are things that we have something to say, we have something to give, we're here to lead. Yes, highly sensitives are leaders. They make great leaders. We need to shine. We need to light up. We need to be in our full energy. And if our energy is turned down and weak, then we are very passive. And not every highly sensitive is going to, is not comfortable being out there. But you have that in you, and when the desire and the passion is there, because I talk to a lot of you, that you want to be out there, but you're scared to be out there. And so it's learning, it's building that muscle, but also learning that you can do it, and that there is a reason. When you find out the why of what it is that you want to do, that why becomes bigger than your fears. And when you start to see and experience the impact and the different things that you're creating in your life, and the support, that you can have support, you're not alone, and you can have highly sensitive people around you supporting you, who get you. You can be leading them. Understand a lot of your beautiful traits as a highly sensitive, again, are here, that helps to solve problems, that brings the creative juices into the world, that brings the big heart, brings that love and empathy. You are a light, and that your light is here to help transform what's going on right now. If you are a light worker, right? that you are more powerful being vulnerable but bright than you are dimming your light and and hiding away and not creating the things that you're here to create and express the things you're here to create and help heal the things you're here to help heal. So let me check my notes here. So the one thing, again, going back, so anybody in Santa Barbara that's interested in this, or if you want private one-on-one coaching, that the thing that I teach also through this process and going is, it is doing this consistently and persistently. So if you do this as a group, you share resources, you get to see what other people are doing, you share, and you get to learn to work with others and ask for help and do those things that are uncomfortable in a really safe and community-minded place with guidance, right? With full guidance, and or whether you do that one-on-one with me. But a lot of it is, again, the consistency, persistency, and learning, and being in those higher energies and seeing, like, oh my God, I wasn't killed. Oh my God, I didn't get whacked down. Or, oh my God, this was so much fun and I didn't realize that. So you get to be in these higher energies and feel that and do your thing and feel alive and feel the love, your heart expand, and your what do I want to say? What is it? Pleasure. Your pleasure from doing the things and pulling in the things and manifesting the things that you want in your life, making your life easier by allowing abundance to come in, by allowing your light to shine, by allowing yourself to be in this energy that attracts the things, so you get in the flow. And you're in the flow helping the rest of the world transform. And just being in your flow too, you realize, and having clear boundaries, you realize you don't have to work as hard. It isn't as painful. It might be uncomfortable, but that's just you growing. Everybody's uncomfortable, even the other 80%. They get uncomfortable growing. And so it's learning that some of the things that you think are just about you are actually the whole population, and some of the things that you think just are you are highly sensitive traits, and you're not alone. There's at least 1.4 billion highly sensitives in the world. I believe there's a lot more, because most of the kids coming in from the 80s, the millennials and on, are becoming more and more sensitive, and they're becoming more and more sensitive so they can solve problems, so they can be multidimensional, so we can use our energies of intuition more, and creativity and connection with others. So I hope this was helpful, and if you are interested in learning how to manifest as a highly sensitive, join my live group here in Santa Barbara if you're here. If not, sign up for my newsletter and the self-care ebook on my website, MarilynO'Malley.com, and that way you'll get the information with the virtual program that I'm putting together. And I am so excited to be helping you. I've been working the last 16 years to be able to really start to expand this and help you align and know the truth of who you are and how powerful you are, and help you manifest this life that you've been dreaming and desiring to create your whole life. So until we meet again, Marilyn O'Malley at MarilynO'Malley.com. And please leave me comments or ask questions. Contact me. I'm available. I'm here for you. Looking forward to it. Take care.